Welcome back to my channel, guys, and we will be covering our coverage of the Anatoly Karpov strategic wins. This is game 2, and Karpov is white and his opponent is Valentin Arbakov. And here Karpov opens with e4. We have e5, knight f, knight 6, and bishop b5. The Royal Lopez is again on the board. We have a6, bishop to a4. We have knight to f6. We have castles by Karpov, bishop 7, rook e1, and b5. This is the main line of the Rule Lopez opening, and we have bishop to b3 now. At b5, we have bishop b3, Arbakov castles, and we have a4. Karpov avoids the Marshall gambit. Marshall goes like this: c3 d5. This is the Marshall gambit. Takes after capturing the e5 pawn. Takes and c6. Black is known to have some compensation for the sacrificed pawn here because there's bishop to f6 coming, and also black will seize counterplay on the open e file, and he will also get some counterplay on these open diagonals. Not that, this. So Karpov white that he plays a4. We have rook to b8. This is a very rare line by black, and last I remember Magnus Carlsen played it against Jan Christoph Duda in the finals, in the semi-finals of the World Cup, FIDE World Cup, and I think that game was a draw. Yeah, he drawed the game. So here Karpov plays c3. We have d6 and h3. This is all the main stuff which happens. Knight to d7 now, and d4. Karpov strikes in the center. If we go back, knight d7, I mean, is not such a good move. First of all, it's very passive. It opens up this diagonal, but what is this bishop even doing? If you put it on b7, for example, I'm now going to play d4, and if you put it on b7, then I can just play d5, and after the knight moves to a5, I'll bring my bishop back to c2. Now b4 is coming, and also this can also be played. So that's not good. So at d4, we have bishop to f6, and now d5. Karpov closes the center. He says, I'm better than you. So he just closes the center and depends on counterplay on the queen side. We have knight back to e7, knight to a3. This is a great move, adds pressure to the b5 pawn. Now you can next play queen to e2 and add further pressure there. You can never play c6 because this pawn guards that square now. We have g6. Arbakov has plans to put his bishop to g7, bishop back to c2, bishop captures on a4, and bishop captures on a4. As you see, Karpov now has control of this whole diagonal, and the rook will not be going anywhere when this bishop is on this diagonal. We have bishop to g7 and now bishop to c2. I don't know why Karpov played this move. I think he wanted to just stabilize the center. And now h6. We have knight back to g2. Karpov opens up the diagonal for his queen, and so not never to worry about any g5, g4, and bishop g4 ideas. So we have f5 now. We have knight a to c4, knight to f6, and knight back to e3. Both players are just shuffling their pieces now, slowly improving their position. Queen to e8, bishop to e3, and knight to h5. As you can see, if you play rook b8 here, rook a8 here, it's a very passive position for black. Now queen e2 comes and you'll never be able to defend the pawn. If you push it, then I'm gonna play b4. Now that pawn, you cannot defend the pawn, and if you take, then you lose the rook on a8. So that's out of the question. So not a good move. So Arbakov instead plays knight to h5. And now Karpov grabs the pawn. We have bishop to f1. Black is avoiding exchanges. The this shuffle pieces takes queen f7, and Karpov plays rook e3. He calls the bluff on Arbakov, saying you don't get anything with queen f7 check. After king h1, my king is safe, and you have misplaced your queen on f7. Next, maybe rook f3 is coming. He's gonna trade pieces as he's up pawns now. So instead, we have g5 by Arbakov, rook f3, queen g6, rook a7, and now Karpov trades once. Queen to f7 again, queen to e1. Now you have to guard this as, for example, if you capture the pawn now it's just bad. Queen, king h1, I'm gonna capture that with check, and after takes and takes, black is winning. There's nothing you can do because next rook to f2 is coming. Queen e1, knight to g6, captures, and knight hf4. Brilliant sacrifice by Arbakov. Karpov takes the knight, and here, as you can see, the engine calls it's better for white, but black gets some counterplay, unnecessary counterplay. Knight to h2, knight e5, as you can see, and this is a bad move. This is a bad move by Karpov. There was no rush to give back the piece. And now, if we turn on the engine, the computer says it's minus 2.32. And here, most likely, black is winning. We can say that. So he takes the piece, knight captures, and queen there. Queen to f1, bishop g4, queen f2. You have to defend the piece. Knight to d2 and knight to d3 and queen back to d2. Knight captures on c1 is a mistake because it gives away your very important piece. I would suggest here you go back here and at queen f2 play something like, I don't know, rook to a8 maybe. You get your rook on this file here. So he takes and Karpov takes back with the queen. So this is what happened. Here queen to e1, bishop captures f3, another bad move. Now white is just winning. He's up two pawns or up a pawn, extra pawn, and he's going to win now. So takes and takes. Here Arbakov actually resigned the game, and because you can't do anything about it, you can't move your bishop. If you play that, then I'm first gonna play that, force circling back to the corner, and now I'm gonna push these pawns. You're never gonna win. So Arbakov actually resigned at bishop captures on e4. He just resigned the game. So this is Anatoly Karpov's second great victory, and we'll be covering this in the we'll be covering the third game in the next video. So goodbye everyone. I'll see you.